The man named Richard, and he was kind of a dick, maybe? Yeah, I can think of at least one. I can think of at least one guy named Richard who was a giant dick. Chuck being considered short for Charlie. Like, oh, my name's Charlie. Oh, it's Chuck for short. How? How is it Chuck for short? Where did you get that? I never understood that. You know what's big? My dick, Grayson. Howdy. Regarding the Metro movie, I missed it and only caught the Q&A part. If I'm allowed to post, there's a short comedy sketch about name shortening that's really fun. Yeah, you're more than welcome to post links. I don't see them right now, so if you want to post it to me later on Twitter, that would be fine. But if you post it right now, it's okay. I'm not gonna see it. Charlie, yeah, and then Charlie's short for Charles, so that one works, right? Like that one, like Timothy. Oh, it just call me Tim. Makes perfect sense. Nicholas, call me. Makes perfect sense. Richard, call me Dick. Why? Why are you a horrible person? Why is Dick short? Jeans. The most eventful thing that happened to me this week was I unlocked Officer Dick in speaking of the devil, in Tony Hawk, and I beat Marvel Adventure Story, and I did a difficult and painful combo in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Very nice, very nice. Good achievements all around, I would say. Whenever I watch Charlie Brown as a young kid, whenever Peppermint Patty calls him Chuck. Yeah, like, hey, Chuck. Like, what? You said the D word. That's a sketch. Okay. Experiment, what's going on? Chaos Alex, Jesus, the Dio, Green Soul Elements, anybody who I've not said hello to, welcome. All I did this week that was notable was mod my 3DS. Sounds kind of big. I don't know. I other than the week that I was having, I got some stuff at Goodwill. Every once in a while I show off the stuff that I got at Goodwill. I actually got today. This was like really like I think it was like $1. They're both in there. I didn't know this was 2 discs. Yeah, but it's a good grab. Pac-Man Versus and Pac-Man World 2. Player's choice version. Is it Bill short for William? Yeah, somehow Bill. Okay, so it's kind of weird. There's William. And then there's Will or Bill. Bill is considered short for William. But apparently there used to be the name Billiam was actually a name at some point that I don't think anybody uses anymore. You already know the crazy shit I got into the last few weeks. The only thing that happened since was I got my hands on an AV Famicom. Sir Sondox in the hunt with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. That's right. It is September. I really should have had something planned for September. It's just kind of rough. September, baby. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thought I could pitch in a few months since it's my birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, since I probably won't stream. Happy birthday, September 12th. I'll have to remember that. So instead of Will Smith, we could call him Bill Smith or Billiam if we want it to not make any sense at all. Fun fact, Mario himself is the announcer of Pac-Man Versus, and the game was designed by Miyamoto. All right, I'm going to have to play it out. Billiam sounds like a name you hear in a Homestar Runner cartoon. I think it was like, you know what I've heard it in, Thorn? Wild West settings. In Western settings, I've heard people use the name Billiam. Well, there goes Billiam. He's a fine, upstanding gentleman. I don't think that was cowboy. I think that was Southern. Which I guess Southern Texas was cow. Yeah, okay. Texas is South. $90 can use it as a test bed. Ooh. Yeah, I gotta get me a. I don't have an actual Famicom. I would like to get an actual Famicom. I would like to get an actual Famicom, but I'm greedy and would like the Famicom with the disc attached to it. What was that? Wasn't that the FC Twin? Was it the FC Twin that was it was a Famicom and disc system built into one? The Sharp Twin Famicom. Yeah, I remember hearing it as the FC Twin. Bill Williams sounds like the nickname you give a guy named Bill Williams, who's an accountant. You got one of those? Oh, Experiment. Listen, if you would like to trade, I happen to have a very rare. This is extremely rare. Now hold on to your hats, and if you're not wearing a hat, I would suggest you go get a hat and then hold on to it. I will trade you your Sharp Twin Famicom for the extremely rare World of Warcraft Authenticator. Ooh. Focus. Oh my God, my focus is terrible. Ooh. Come on, guys, sell it for me, man. If someone was unfortunately named Tacky, it would be called TAC for short. Specifically the Turbo AN505 model, so it has the longer controller cables and turbo controllers built in. What does it authenticate? This is a no, I literally just grabbed something. Unless you, how about a Rubik's Cube with the white side completed? I mean, I'm sorry, fully completed. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, you can even see it from different angles. Whoa. No, this is, I was just grabbing stuff off my desk here. I found this a couple weeks ago when I was cleaning up. This is the authenticator for World of Warcraft. The way it works is that Final Fantasy XIV has this too. The way it works is that you push the button and there's a code that comes up. Every time you go to log in to play the game, every time you go to log in to play the game, you need to enter the code. It's basically another protection for your account so that your account doesn't get hacked. Some call me Johnny in the hunt with a tier 1 sub. Subscribe for 17 months, currently on a 15-month streak. Those LED lights you gave me are quite bright here. They are fantastic, aren't they? I gave John, so I have a strip of LED lights that I use back here. That's what the really bright, like my hair is lit up. That's what that's from. So I gave him an extra strip of those that I had. I told him they were bright, and I don't think he believed me. Random fish. What? Why is Chubby here? Random fish. That doesn't seem like a scam. But thank you so much. Some call me Johnny. It says 17 months, currently on a 15-month streak. What the hell happened? What happened with that second month? Man. What advantages does the authenticator have, say, over a train, which I could also afford? I don't know. You can beat those in less than an hour with a simple NAND dumper. Oh, okay. Well, experiment. Fancy lights, but now it does. What? But now it does. Okay, I think you lost me there. I could see the failures on the other side of the Rubik's Cube. The best I've ever done with a Rubik's Cube is 2 sides. That's the best I've ever done with one. There are videos on how to solve them. I just don't have the patience to learn it. I really just kind of don't. Favorite Metroid game is most likely going to be Super Metroid. I'm a basic guy. That's Super Metroid. But all right. So we are going to get started here. I want to get started a little bit quicker than usual. You mean Death Battle Hate Sonic? I want to get started a little quicker than usual here. With our first topic, which is wrong picture. Oh crap! I didn't have a basic picture. Okay, so I forgot to put a picture in there. The first topic that I want to discuss is the Ubisoft Forward thing. Ubi Forward or Ubisoft Forward. I forget exactly what it was called. Greek Breath of the Wild. So Ubisoft did a presentation that was not expected to be fantastic, mostly because it's Ubisoft. We got, the Ubisoft presentation at E3 a few years ago when they announced Mario and Rabbids, I think was probably the best presentation they've ever done. Everything else has been pretty lackluster. That might have been the same presentation where they announced Beyond Good and Evil 2, and we haven't seen that game ever again. Not even on this presentation, which is kind of weird, but okay. But yeah, so we watched this presentation. They did like an hour and a half of stuff before it, where they were playing games. It was like a stream. Like they weren't even playing the games that we were going to see in the presentation or anything. It was just like a stream. And then they did the presentation, and then afterwards they did like a half an hour of talking about the first game, which is this game here. So then they talked about that. So they kind of jumped right into it. And the first game they talked about was this game here, which is Immortals Phoenix Rising. I have a few notes here. They talked about Immortal Phoenix Rising. This game is a somewhere between it's Breath of the Wild ish with a more Greek mythology setting, and the Unity graphics engine, which I think everybody is used to by now. It is the Fortnite engine. I'm pretty sure it's Unity. It's Unity, right? It's the Fortnite engine. Is the Overwatch engine. It is the characters that have this. For me, they have this almost claymation look to them, right? There's this sort of plasticky look to them, which I don't hate. I'm a little tired of it. It's a little plain and boring right now. It's been it's been used a lot, and it never feels like it was upgraded. It doesn't feel like it's such a better version than what it normally is. Unreal is the Fortnite. Okay, so okay, so it's not the same engine, but it's that same sort of graphic-y style where everything's just sort of to me it looks like claymation. Everything looks like it was modeled out of clay. Which is nice. It's just that's more of an art decision rather than it's okay. So more of an art style. So the art style is what I'm tired of, basically. Yeah. So the art style is what I'm tired of. Being a Breath of the Wild clone is not actually a bad thing. I don't actually think that that's a bad thing. I think that Breath of the Wild was a very popular game that was very, very well done, but had some flaws. So a Breath of the Wild style game probably has the opportunity to fix some of those flaws. So, hopefully we're looking for a more story-driven game. Breath of the Wild was fantastic, but let's be honest here. It was not a story-driven game. That was, you have to stop Calamity Ganon. You have to stop Calamity Ganon. You could literally go and try and do that once the game starts. So the game is not story driven. So hopefully with Immortals, you're going to get Immortals Phoenix Rising. And I think the main character's name is Phoenix. Hopefully you're going to get a more story driven experience. I think that is the most important aspect of it. Yeah, that was the god. Well, okay, so Sandox, was that Gods and Monsters, but they have changed the name? Because I thought it was Gods and Monsters at first, and then they said Immortal Phoenix Rising, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's something different. And is it Gods and Monsters just with a new name? That was the one thing that I wasn't entirely sure of. Why am I getting a bunch of messages? Okay. Calamity Ganon. Yeah, okay, so it is Gods and Monsters. It's just with a different name. That's what I wasn't entirely sure of. You can either put an end to the ghastly demonic pig spirit or just chill out and cook food in the field. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's Breath of the Wild in a nutshell, right? It's just Breath of the Wild, the world was very empty. A lot of, if you didn't open up the towers, there was a lot of traveling in Breath of the Wild. So this has the potential to fix some of it. It's coming to Stadia, which I think is probably the funniest thing in this entire presentation, is that they made it a point to have the dude from Stadia standing there in front of the giant Stadia logo and explain that it's coming to Stadia as if any significant amount of people are going to care. What does kind of suck is that it looks like Stadia is getting an exclusive playable demo for a little while. So that's kind of interesting and kind of not. Stadia is the best joke that's still funny. Quite a few games in the presentation are going to Stadia, surprising. Yeah, it's look, Stadia. It's that commercial where the advertising for it, where it's like Stadia, but there's nobody in the stadium and it's just an echo. Yeah, crickets. So they get an exclusive demo. I just think the game looks kind of bland. This was also the game that, if you watched the presentation, had this weird sort of music choice. The music choice was kind of strange. I don't think that the weird song is going to be in the game, but I do think that when you're trying to sell people on this game, and you're showing it off, I do think that your music choice was very off-putting. And I think that once the music started, there was a game there that people were probably saying, oh, this might be interesting. And then when music started, and it was like, and we did it too. We watched it here live on stream. And the whole conversation became, what the hell is this song? Why is this here? This is so, like, I don't know. This isn't working. It didn't work. It was just a weird sort of thing that they did. I don't. It won't obviously affect the game itself, but it just was very strange. I still remember they did the first reveal show of Stadia. They had on display the Power Glove and Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, yeah, right. We at Google would like to bring you an experience that rivals some of the best gaming experiences out there. From the Power Glove to that octagon that you would stand on, that you would put on the ground for the Genesis, to the Virtual Boy. Now, Stadia. like at some point, somebody had to tell them, dude, those things didn't work, man. So Immortals Phoenix Rising, it looks kind of bland, but it also looks kind of like it might be interesting. That looks like the kind of game that will come out, and when it does, people will say, oh, that game finally came out, and then go, oh, this is actually really good. Like, Phoenix Rising has the potential for that. Then they showed what I thought was a good thing at a weird time. I guess because Phoenix Rising was supposed to be the big thing that was getting everybody's engine running. So then they went into Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which I think more people were interested in Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake than were into Phoenix Rising. We were all very excited to see Sands of Time was being remade. And then we watched it. It looks rough. It looks rough. I know that that's a small version of it, so it's hard to see. It does look a bit rough. I chose this image for two reasons. Number one, it's very small, but it is, the character model is a little bit rough. But I wanted this image because it says right there what the problem is. Alpha footage. This is alpha footage. Rough is putting it lightly. Alpha footage probably should not be shown to people. If you're trying to sell people on the idea of a game, you probably shouldn't be showing alpha footage. The saving thing for me is the alpha footage concept, because we don't know when this was taken. We don't know. COVID has thrown a lot of things back, a lot of things off of their timer. They probably did not get new footage to put a new version of the presentation together. This right here could be months old. I would not be surprised if it was 5-6 months old. Not at all would I be surprised if that were the case. So I'm trying to focus on the fact that the game's probably not going to look like this. Because if it does look like this is PS3 at best. And that is not the kind of effort you want to be putting into a remake of a relatively popular, well-known game of a relatively well-known franchise that could reignite the franchise. A remake like this for a franchise that has been dead-ish for a long time, this has the potential to reignite the franchise and cause people to say, I would like to see this continued. You're not going to see that if you are making games for the next generation of systems, and you are putting out games from the before last next generation, before the current generation of systems. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good practice. So hopefully this is alpha footage, and you're going to be able to clearly tell when it's not alpha footage anymore. That's just a hope, though. It did not look crazy intensive graphically, yet no Switch release yet. Yeah, I don't know. There might be some sort of exclusivity with it. We just don't know yet. I hope it keeps the Disney-esque look of the original. Modeless PS3 texture work looks good. Yeah, the texture, like on the ground here, on the floor, like you see the lighting coming off the floor, that's good texture work. It's the character models that are supposed to be a problem, that are going to be a problem if they look like that. The character, I should really specify that. The character models are what look really, 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 really rough. The textures and everything on the environments could be better, but are not awful the way they are. It's just, this is a big name, and you're kind of, I don't know, I feel like it flubbed. If I'm being totally honest, I feel like this initial announcement of the game kind of stumbled out of the gate. So we'll see what happens. The film and the Lego sets, I personally like the film. I hear good things about the film. I hear mediocre things about the film, which for a video game movie makes it great. Exclusivity. I don't get it. And the character models look like trash. Yeah, you know what? It made me feel bad because when I was watching the presentation, I was thinking, God, these character models look really rough. And then I thought, maybe it's just me, right? Like, maybe I'm being too picky. And, like, I've never been a graphics whore. I've never been somebody that's like, this game has to look amazing or it's trash. But there was a part of me that was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm focusing too much on it. And then when everybody else started saying it, it was like, oh, thank God. Thank God it's not just me that thinks that this does not look good, because I didn't want to be that one. I don't want to be the one to fire the first shot. Okay, then we got some weird sort of things here. We got what was essentially a Hyperscape commercial. I rewatched the whole presentation earlier. This was effectively a commercial for Hyperscape, a game that's already out. I'm not entirely sure why this was in the presentation. It would be like Nintendo doing a Nintendo Direct, like Nintendo did the 35th anniversary of Mario. It would be like them saying, "Oh, by the way, you should check out Paper Mario and the Origami Killer." I know it's king. It would be like, oh well, like okay, but you literally just threw like a basic commercial in the middle of your Direct. It was so weird. Yeah, it was an announcement for an LTM for some, like, it was a commercial for Hyperscape. I don't know. It just felt out of place to me. It didn't feel like it belonged there. And that's not having to do anything with whether or not Hyperscape is a good game. I'm interested in trying Hyperscape. So if anybody plays Hyperscape out there, let me know. I am interested in trying the game out. And, maybe we'll get together, play some games. It's one of the few good video game adaptations aside from Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was great, the first one. Silent Hill I haven't actually seen in the Sonic movie. Hey, Super Mario Brothers movie, top tier. Rodan, this game is for babies and you can't do it. Then came our next weird announcement. It was this weird sort of commercial that I thought was like a generic Ubisoft commercial. Then I kind of thought it was like a Uplay commercial, which is their sort of online connectivity service. Then I thought it was a soccer game that was coming up. They showed a bit of basketball, which confused me. It was for Rainbow Six's World Cup, which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know Rainbow Six was such a popular thing to do. I'm not knocking Rainbow Six as a game itself. I just felt like in this presentation, it was a weird thing to put in there, and it was a weird way to do it. When you go back and you watch the presentation, and you're like, Huh? It was yeah, it felt like a generic sports commercial, which is fine because it was an esport after all. But like if you watch a commercial for the NFL, you watch a 2-minute commercial for talking about the love of the game and how we're all teammates and all of this stuff. You watch a 2-minute commercial, you would see a lot of football in that commercial, right? You'd see people gearing up, because that's what it had. Like it had people like getting dressed up, and they were countries, and then they were doing this thing, and then it was like Germany flag colors and stuff, and they were like everybody was different countries, and they were all getting ready. And it's like, okay, but you'd probably be seeing like scenes of football, maybe somewhere in the middle there, to let you know that, oh, it's like a football kind of thing. And they weren't showing any of it. They showed basketball, they showed soccer / football, and it was very confusing. And then all of a sudden it's like Rainbow Six. It was great because at one point it said World Cup, and it had a 6 with a gun in it. I don't know if you can't see it here. There was like a 6, but you know the hole in the 6, it was shaped like a gun. And I remember thinking, is it like FIFA with weapons? This is kind of awesome. Yeah, it was just very weird. It was just a very weird way to present everything. Other than that, it was a Rainbow Six World Cup sort of announcement, Pro League type thing. That's what it was. That's what everybody. That was the build up. All that build up was for that. It should have been separate from the stream. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like a weird thing. It felt like a weird commercial. Then we got, other than Prince of Persia, probably arguably the biggest announcement was Scott Pilgrim is finally coming back. So this is the 10-year anniversary of Scott Pilgrim being released for Xbox, I believe. It was Xbox 360 exclusive. And then it was up for about 4 years. I was reading about it earlier. It was up for about 4 years, and then there was some sort of argument over licensing, and the game was pulled down, and it has never been back up. Everybody was pretty sure that the game was never going to come back. There was no way to do any sort of physical copy, any kind of re-release whatsoever. Nobody knew what was going on. And then, boom, we got Scott Pilgrim back, which is terrific. I'm sad. I never got to play it. I didn't get to play it before, and I think a lot of people out there are in that same position, especially when you talk about younger gamers coming up, 18, 19 years old. This game came out 10 years ago. They might not have even been playing games then. So this is a great opportunity for it to come back. It is going to be on multiple systems, including Nintendo Switch. So that's all I care about. Yeah, now we need to release PT. I never got to play it, but I saw the film, but never the game. The film is amazing for anybody that has never seen the Scott Pilgrim movie. As a video gamer and as a geek, you need to watch. Everybody needs to watch the movie because the movie is remarkable. I will probably watch it again later today after I have a few drinks. Oh, and it's also coming to Stadia. My faith in humanity has been restored because of this. When the world needed him the most, he came. Man, not interested. I need to see that. It's a great movie. It really is great, and I don't mean to exaggerate it or anything like that. It really is a very decent movie. It is just the way everything was portrayed. It was a manga come to life, is what that movie was. It was terrific in the way that it was portrayed. You get a lot of movies that are, that are adapted from comics or manga or something like that. And then what the movie does is try to make it its own, right? They try and use their own sorts of designs. They use their own this, they use their own that. It was like the manga come to life for the movie. I'm actually wearing my Plum Tree shirt right now. Yeah, it's the one Scott wears in the film. I wanted the 3 shirt that Todd Ingram wore. And when I went to look it up, it was like, this is back in the day. It was like $80. Like, yikes. I didn't get to play it either, but I've seen and knew about it. Yeah, I knew about it. I just never got to play it. I think I still have the demo for it on my 360, to be honest. Yeah, and when you watch the movie, The movie is also very very realistic towards not realistic, but it talks about a lot of real issues. It brings a lot of real issues to light, and I don't know. I just think it's a really good movie. The movie really makes you root for a real trash person and his garbage love interest. Yeah, it kind of is. The point is everyone is a horrible person. Yeah, it kind of was. It kind of was. He punched the highlights out of her hair. I like that scene. I don't know the meaning of the word. And a great role for Brie Larson. I liked everybody in that movie. I thought everybody played a fantastic role in that movie. The game makes more references to yeah. The game is based on the graphic novel. So the movie is based on the graphic novel. The game is based on the graphic novel. The graphic novel and the movie have tons of stuff in common, but there are some differences. So those differences will be highlighted in the game as well. Brie Larson was in the movie. Brie Larson was in that movie as Envy Adams. Was it Adams? Was that her last name? She was the head of the band. Oh my God! Hold on. Don't. Oh God! What was the name of the band? What was the name of the band? It's gonna break my brain if I try and think of it. Clash at Demon Head. Thank you. I knew it was an old game. I knew there was a game in the manga. I think there is another band called Sonic and Knuckles. Isn't there? It kind of made me want to. I would like to. If I started a band, if I ever started a 3-piece band, it would be called Cobra Triangle, which is a great NES game. And that's sort of where I got that idea from, like using these old NES games as band references. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. I think Brie Larson was doing. I like Brie Larson. I don't. Other than people's dislike of her outside of acting, I don't understand why people don't like Brie Larson. Like as if you don't like her as a person, okay. As an actress, I think she does, or actor, I think she does fantastic. I think that everything I've seen her in, I liked her character in. I liked her in Captain Marvel. I didn't understand why people didn't really like her in Captain Marvel. And they said, like, oh, well, she's just very stiff. And it's like, yeah, but that's kind of her character. Like, her character is a very down to business type character. I think that she's good. I liked her in Godzilla. No, King Kong. Or was it just Kong? I think it was just Kong. She could have portrayed Captain Marvel a little better. I don't know. I think it was fine. I think it worked well. I think Chaos, maybe it could have been better, but I think it could have been a lot worse. I think it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, and okay, hold on. So we're gonna play this game. So Brie Larson was in Scott Pilgrim that had Chris Evans. Or no, hold on. Let's start with Chris Evans. Chris Evans was Captain America, and he was in Scott Pilgrim that also featured Brie Larson. Brie Larson was also in a Marvel movie, Captain Marvel, that featured Samuel L. Jackson, and Samuel L. Jackson was in Kong with Brie Larson. Oh, wait, and Superman was there. That's right, and Brandon Routh, Superman was there. Boy, it's just all over the place. I'm convinced that there's like 20 actors in Hollywood, and you can connect the dots all the time with them. I think the director had a bigger role in making people dislike the Captain Marvel movie, probably, yeah. And Katara, also Katara from Avatar. Who was the voice of Katara? Half-Life 3 confirmed. Is in Half-Life 3 Half-Life Alex. Wreck-It Ralph was in Skull Island as well. Boy, it's a wild web of credits, isn't it? Yeah, this is like well, originally it was called 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon, which I think they've actually disputed. I think that the whole 6 Degrees thing has actually, because of the internet, I think they've reduced it to something like 4. I think they say like within 4 people, because of the internet, you most likely can reach a lot of other people, including Kevin Bacon. You could beat up Captain America in this game. I know, it's great. I mean, you could also do that in a Marvel game, you know, if you choose. I don't know if there's a Marvel game where you choose the bad guys. All right. So that was Scott Pilgrim. So Scott Pilgrim's coming back. I'm a little annoyed at the Scott Pilgrim announcement because all they did was show the trailer. They did not. Oh, it was also on PS3. Okay, thank you. It was also on PS3. They didn't talk about the controversy behind Scott Pilgrim. They didn't talk about why it has been gone so long. They didn't talk about what they did to make it now be available. I would have been more interested in that stuff, but I don't know if there is a legal side to all of that they couldn't discuss. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there was a legality issue that they can't discuss. So so they just showed the trailer and didn't even talk about it. I'm okay with it, but it would have been nice for them to talk about it a little bit more. I think so. Moving on. Then we got Watch Dogs Legion. Is this 3? Is this Watch Dogs 3? Or is this just a new Watch Dogs game spinoff and then 3 is coming later? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a Watch Dogs fan. Or not that I'm not a fan. I'm not a follower of the series. It's 3. Okay, so it's 3 effectively, or is it actually 3? Basically, if they make another one of these, is it going to be 4 or is it going to be 3? See, now I had this problem. Like, we can all say effectively, yeah, it's 3, but it's not 3. It's just the third one, because Bravely Default 2 is coming out, and that's the third game. Because there was Bravely Second, which was a sequel to the first one, but is not considered the second game in the story lineup. What I'm looking for is this the third game in the line of storytelling? Or is this a spin-off game with different or similar kind of gameplay, and then there's a Watch Dogs 3 happening later? It's, Ryan, it's semantics, but it's kind of important semantics. I always find the Final Fantasy X and X-2. If you would have called X-2 11, that would have been frustrating. If you would have called 13-2 14 and 13-3 15, everybody's already got a headache. I almost just got a headache saying that sentence. If you would have called them that, it would have been frustrating and super confusing. So I think the semantics are important in this case, in some cases anyway. Watch Dogs looks neat, but I'm not into sandbox shooty beat people up kind of games. I think it's 3 and are going the Assassin's Creed route where they don't number the games anymore. That could be what it is. Not gonna lie, after the Scott Pilgrim announcement, I just tuned out because I was too busy raving about it to my friends. It's Ubisoft's total apolitical Brexit game. This is 358? 358 half days over 2, or oh god, I hate that. Don't start this Kingdom Hearts Bravely Default nonsense. It might do the Assassin's Creed thing. Yeah, that's what it's different subtitle for every game. Yeah, so they would be eliminating the numbers. Bravely Second is the second game. Bravely Default 2 is the third game. I'm confused. Final Fantasy X-2, let's go. So Watch Dogs 3, Legion, whatever you're gonna call it. It looks fine. It looks like a Watch Dogs game. If you love Watch Dogs, it looks like you're gonna go all in. If not, then moving on. And then we had the last game. This was the last game that was announced, which was Riders Republic. I rewatched this part of the trailer, and I watched it again, and I'm still not entirely sure what kind of game it is. It is an extreme sports game. It's got like 7 different versions of extreme sports. There's cycling. There was cycling, parachuting, jetpacking. There's some other ones too. I don't remember what some of the other ones were. It looked fine. I just don't know what kind of game it is. It made it sound like a free roaming type game where you're in a large environment with other player characters and you could do whatever you want. Then at some points it made it sound like you can organize races and stuff. Then at some point it made it sound like a career game because they were talking about like you earn sponsors and you have to, bring your fans in and stuff. So it sounded like it has some sort of career mode. But and then it looked almost like a battle royale extreme sports game, which I thought was kind of cool. The multiplayer 50 to 100 players, but you choose between cycling or jetpacking or parachuting or something like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. This sort of ESPN extreme games, but with like 50 people at a time. I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't know. I rewatched the trailer and I'm still not entirely sure what it was that I was looking at. Yeah, most of the sports in this game are in steep, so it's steep. Yeah, it's steep too. 90s nostalgia is in extreme. If it were any more 90s, it would have the purple and greenish swoosh. Remember like when you went to the mall and you got cups and they all had that purple and green swish on it? That to me is the image of the 90s. That is the image that personifies the 90s in one shot, is that cup with the swirl on it. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. That's the most amazing thing. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about, whether you can visualize it right now or not. When you see it, you'll go, oh, that. Okay. Forgot to include the $100 to $200 collector's editions, hat, statue, exclusive costume. Wait, what was that? Hold on. It's a game that'll probably cost $60, but have a battle pass, cosmetic stuff. Oh, yeah, it probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. Because, honestly, because the game has it seems to have some sort of career mode, I would not be surprised if they do some sort of battle pass type thing, just so that you can earn different costumes and whatnot. So it looked visually fine. I think I would need to see more of the game. I do have a strong suspicion I'm not going to play it. I'm like 100% sure that I'm not going to play that game. Other than the fact that, I don't know what system it's going to be on. It was real weird. Like all of these games, right, could be on multiple systems, and some of them already are on multiple systems. But I don't know. For some reason, I got an Xbox vibe out of the whole thing. It was very strange. Ubisoft would definitely do that, but it'll drop in price quickly. Yeah, I mean, that goes into the whole idea of games with battle passes and cash stores. How much should those games cost? I think we've had that discussion here before. Like, if the game has a cash shop and a buyable battle pass, should the initial game be free? It should. I think I'm of the mind that the game should never cost more than $20. If your intention is day one to have a purchasable battle pass and a cash shop, I don't think you should be allowed to charge more than $20 for the game. That's just me, but that's a whole separate subject. So overall, because the Xbox stereotype, Mr. L, that's probably exactly it. The Xbox is so stereotypically sports and shooters that this felt like and I think the Scott Pilgrim thing helped. I think the Scott Pilgrim thing definitely helped to make this all feel like almost like an Xbox presentation in a way. I don't know. There was something strange about it. That was what I kept getting from it. I got the Crew 2 Gold Edition for really cheap price in the PS Store. Yeah, and I don't know if that, I'm assuming that has some sort of cash store or battle pass or something like that, which I find very crazy. EA Sports to the game. Well, it's in the game. That's classic right there. That's old school. I love that people still remember that EA Sports thing. Ubisoft presentation. I mean, it was lackluster, but I think we were all kind of expecting lackluster. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I put it like a 4, maybe a 5. The Prince of Persia and Scott Pilgrim bump it up to a 5. My biggest problem with the presentation was the ordering of it. I really think that Prince of Persia, if Immortals Phoenix Rising was the first game, that's totally okay. Then they followed it up with Prince of Persia, so that's okay. I probably would have flipped those two around, but that's fine. Scott Pilgrim should have been at the end. Scott Pilgrim should have been the last thing. It should have been the big hype. We should have left it talking about the last thing we saw and how amazing it was, and the last thing we saw was Riders Republic. I don't think that was a good idea. Vivi Goth, what's going on? I remember Electronic Arts having a full name. Yeah, it was Electronic Arts and a geometric 3D shapes in their logo. That's all I remember, right? Because I remember Electronic Arts, and then because Electronic Arts did different games. They did stuff like the Strike series, like Jungle Strike and Desert Strike and all that stuff. They did good stuff, and then they got into the sports, and it was like, and EA Sports was their sports division, and of course that turned into what it turned into, and then regular Electronic Arts just sort of disappeared. I would say it got folded into it probably got folded into EA Sports, which, you know, EA at this point has become that scuzzy business guy, the corporate a-hole in the suit. Like, that's kind of who EA is at this point. Maybe it's not fair, but it certainly is accurate, in my opinion. My dad was obsessed with Mule. I don't know what's Mule. Now I'm interested. Multi ovulating, I don't know, labia experience. I don't know. Remember when EA used to release platforms and Def Jam games? Oh my God, EA bad. It's in the name. I like the EA is run by Mr. Krabs. They released a video conference, a video before the conference addressing the allegations and never mentioned. Oh, okay. So yeah, Ubisoft presentation, not that amazing, which I think we were all expecting. Sports franchises need to stop handing exclusivity to these publishers. Multiple use labor element, an economy space colony simulator. Interesting. EA Sports Big was kind of fun. Big was their like fun sports sort of thing. I think the EA Sports name is where SSX Tricky was released. So that was kind of a fun arcade. They were more arcadey. I thought with those kind of games. I thought they were more arcadey, which to me Sega does that stuff better than anybody else. All right. So that was Ubisoft, and then we have to switch topics because we need to talk about this. Yeah, SSX. Yeah, NBA Street. That was the other one. Wow, FIFA Street. I don't remember. So we have prices. It has finally happened. We have prices for the Xbox Series X, otherwise known as the Xbox X, and the Xbox Series S, which we don't call the Xbox SES. That's kind of sad. We finally have prices for these games, for these systems, and they are not far off from what we were expecting. They are a little tantalizing. I think so. I personally think so. I'm also kind of interested in these systems, one of them in particular, for its impact on gaming in a way. So we got the prices. The Xbox Series X, which is the big black one there, that's the refrigerator, which is a very cool design. I like the design. It does look like a mini fridge. To me, it looks like the Corsair One, the Corsair PC. I think it was the Corsair One, which is a vertical PC that costs like $5,000. It's kind of ridiculous. They're saying $500, which is right on the nose of what we called. We had this discussion before about the fact that that both companies hadn't released any prices, and we speculated on prices, and we called $500 right on the nose for the Series X. Digital one doesn't have as much memory as you expect for a digital. I saw a pic on Twitter where the Series S is treated like the speaker. Yeah, it does kind of look like that. It does. That's the problem with the Series S. I said X, not S. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. That is actually going to be an issue. The digital one is going to be $300. That is, I think, catching everybody by extreme surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting it to be that low. However, there are some caveats. Caviar? Escargot? With this system. First and foremost, it is coming with a 500 gig hard drive. That is not a lot of space now. Now, that's not a lot of space. When you're talking about next-gen games that come in 4K, that run at a higher frame rate, that have a lot more memory, you're going to get like 5 games on this thing. Especially if you put Call of Duty, which Call of Duty is like 100 and something gigs right now. 500 gigs is not a lot of room at all for now. Now, for me, I have a 500 gig PS4. It's actually plenty of room for me because I prefer my games physically. I buy physical games as much as I possibly can. I download digital games when I absolutely have to. As a result of that, my PS4, out of the 500 gigs, which is actually like 460 something, out of all of that memory, I still have about 300 gigs left. And that's only because I have Call of Duty Warzone on there, which takes up well over 100 gigs of space. I have a 2 terabyte. Yeah, see, I don't do a lot of digital downloading because I do a lot of physical downloading or physical buying. SSD prices are rumored to possibly get around 200. That would not be an issue except for the fact that the Xbox Series S is an all-digital system. There are not going to be physical games for this system. So any game that you buy has to go on this hard drive. So you are going to run out of 500 gigs of space really quickly. I saw Jesus. Thank you. That's very awesome. I don't think that that's a good idea. If you're now here's a question that I do have for you. The Xbox Series X, have they said how much memory that's going to come with? Or is that also 500 gigs? 500 gigs for the Series X is a little bit better. It's 1 terabyte. Okay. So basically they got this bass backwards. You put the larger hard drive, the larger storage space in the system that's going to run physical games, and the smaller drive in the system that's going to need more space because it doesn't play digital. Later, Jesus. Have a good one. Remember when the OG Xbox came with an 8 gig hard drive, 8 gig HDD, and it blew? It was mind blowing. Oh my god. All games will need to be installed to the Series X2. Wait, hold on. All games will need to be installed to the Series X. They cannot run off the disc. Is that true? Wow. That can't be true, right? No, it probably is. Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, that's how games work. Yeah, I guess that is how games work. Well, I don't know, because I have my PS4 games don't do that. That's terrible. Yeah, they're no, VV, not for a system, for a hard drive. I think that because they're making, mandatory downloads, and then they're selling you extra disk space, extra SSD space. It's kind of scummy. It does sound kind of scummy. Like the last time I heard something that scummy, they announced a collection of games that was only going to be available for 6 months. Reading this, yeah, and I guess that's the issue, Mr. L. It makes sense from a technology standpoint that you put it all onto the system and then it runs faster. I just think if that's your plan, you need to normalize multi-terabyte drives for these systems. And the idea that the idea that this is what you're planning on doing, and then you're selling the Xbox Series S with a 500 gig hard drive is kind of insane, right? Because you know that's not going to work for everybody. That's not going to work. Technology going forward. Yeah, it's getting better, but it's like a lateral better. Wasn't this the thing on the original Xbox One before it released? Thorn, I think it was, and I remember there being a lot of outrage when some of these things were announced, and people didn't like it. Like imagine you're a kid on Christmas, and I know this is a generic scenario, but you're a kid on Christmas and hey, Mom, I got my Xbox, Mom. I got my Xbox, and I'm gonna play some games, and the kid can't play physical copies of games because they got him the S, or they got him the X, but he needs to wait a day for his favorite game to upload. Like, I don't know. It's just sort of weird. Yeah, the more SSDs are bought, the cheaper they'll be. I think SSDs are relatively cheap now. It's just the fact is you're creating a scenario where you're going to have to go and buy one. You know, it's sort of like the old days. Remember the old days when your parents got you a PlayStation and a game and they didn't know they needed a memory card, so you couldn't really play the game until you got the memory card? It's sort of like the same thing, right? Like, oh, I got a whole bunch of games and I can only play some of them because I can't fit them all until I get a bigger hard drive. Great grandma said it's my turn to play Xbox Series X. when great grandma says Xbox X, run. There's no point in getting an Xbox Series. Yeah, and that's Ronan, that's sort of the ultimate issue with all of this stuff, is that Microsoft has not been known lately for their exclusives, so a lot of this is kind of moot anyway. A lot of people aren't going to bother getting one. The Xbox ses and sex. Yeah, it really is sex, and it's ses. It's a waste of a console. Yeah, there is still a use for it. The biggest issue, the biggest use that I have for these consoles is that I don't play my video, like my computer setup is not my gaming setup. My gaming setup is over on the couch with the big TV, so I don't play a lot of games right here. So it's understandable. Like, there are people that have a use for it, but not as many as they might think. If the rumors are true, an SSD might wipe out what you save on the S. The only reason people get it if they really want games in true 4K. But even then, if you want games in true 4K, if you have a computer, okay. So that is sort of another issue, is that if you want to play 4K 120 frames per second gaming, one of these consoles is the faster way to do it. Yes, you can do it on your computer, but you need a decent hard drive. You need a decent CPU, you need a good amount of RAM, and you need a kick-ass graphics card if you want to run 120 frames per second at least on a PC at 4K. You need a lot more than $500 worth of tech in order to do that. The problem, of course, is that with the PC, you don't have to start off that way. You can upgrade as an upgrade path to do that. So that's a bit more accessible for a lot of people. It's easier for a lot of people to say, oh, my PC is kind of different, kind of decent. I can't play 4K games right now, but if I go buy a better graphics card, I can get closer. If I add 2 sticks of RAM, I can get closer. And you can do all of that on a tier-based system. You buy it a little bit at a time. Xbox solution to memory is proprietary memory cards. They only work for the Xbox. PS5 has slots in the system, so you can add functional SSD for more space. That's pretty good. I like that. There's something else. Hold on. There's something else that I wanted to talk about here that I don't think was actually highlighted a lot, and I haven't seen anybody really talking about it. These systems are actually also going to come with... they're available through some sort of payment plan. Did anybody see this? It's going to be like 13 months or something, or some number of $25 a month for the Series S and $35 a month for the Series X. That is actually a really decent idea. That's a really good idea. Hold on, I actually have an article up here. Hold on. Tag. Where did I see this? Here we go. All right, so this article is from Windows Central. I don't think I've ever been on this site before. Hold on a second. Oh my God, it's got a bunch of ads in there. They're moving things all over the place. Stop moving everything, you stupid ads. Where is? Oh my God, there's ads all over this thing. Very carefully. All right, so we can confirm via our sources the entry-level Xbox Series X will cost $299 at retail with a $25 per month Xbox All Access financing option, which Microsoft is planning to push hard via various retailers and a large global rollout. The more powerful Xbox Series X will cost $499, $500, with a $35 a month all-access financing option. Both systems will launch November 10th, 2020. This is interesting. I think that this is pretty interesting. I don't remember a system ever doing this. I don't remember a company ever actually offering this. So this is kind of interesting. It comes with Gold and Game Pass, which is Game Pass is a very, very good value. Or I could save up and buy a PS5. Yeah. I thought the payment plan was a GameStop thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's... According to this, it made it sound like it's something that Microsoft might be offering themselves. Because it's called Xbox All Access Financing Option. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see... how many people take advantage of that. Why do all cuts have to be so overly complicated or complex? I remember back in the day when play games just by putting the cartridges in later discs without worrying about overly extra technical crap. Yeah, they were not but to be fair, the systems were not as powerful as they are today. I mean, the systems back then were nothing compared to this. So I understand that there are new hurdles to overcome with technology. Yeah, a lot less moving parts, basically. So I don't mind that. So I want to bring up the other issue that I have with one of these systems. This is a sort of weird issue, so I don't know how well this is going to go over or not go over. They did payment plans for the Xbox One. Oh. If I were a video game store, I would stock the Xbox Series X. I would stock games for it. I would encourage people to buy it. I would say, hey, this is the next generation of systems, and this is only $500, and it comes with a very decent controller, and you can buy all of these cool games with it, and then there's Game Pass and stuff. I would sell that system. I would not, as a retailer, want to sell you the Xbox Series S. I had this problem with the Xbox One, the all digital, the Xbox One SAD. I don't like it because I'm going to sell you this system, and then other than maybe another controller, I can't sell you anything else for this. I'm not going to get repeat business by selling you the Xbox Series S, because what are you going to come back for? You're not going to come back for anything. You're going to go home and you're going to go to the Xbox store online and you're going to buy points and you're going to buy games and you're never going to come back into my store. Yeah, all digital would kill video game sales. You're not. It's counterintuitive. My argument was I remember when we talked about something like this before. My argument was a network television channel or television network running commercials for Netflix. Why would a network channel run commercials for a service that if people go to, they will not go to your service anymore? It'd be like walking into Burger King and they have ads for McDonald's. This is a competitor. This is, for a video, and it seems weird to say that, but for a video game retailer that makes most of their money, because most video game stores make most of their money off of used games. They make a few bucks off of selling new games and almost nothing off of selling systems. Used games and other items are where they make their money. You are selling them an item that guarantees that for this system, they don't have to come back to your store. I don't think this is a good thing to be selling at a retail, at a video game retailer. Something like Target, they don't care. They're going to sell you the system and you're still going to come back. When you need light switches and floor cleaner and some food and a new mirror, you're going to go to Target and you're going to buy all of those things at once. They don't care that you're not going there for video games. Yeah, used games are dying out now. There's a reason GameStop has digital games for sale, but doesn't push them. Imagine GameStop having ads for Amazon. I was the guy who was always getting used games. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't GameStop shutting down? GameStop's kind of they're kind of all over the place. We're kind of waiting for GameStop to shut down, but it hasn't happened as of yet, and they haven't announced it as of yet. So we're getting there. Yeah, it's very strange that a video game retailer is going to sell this system. So I'm interested to see if they do. They're closing hundreds of stores. Yeah, they're always kind of closing stuff. I think, Ryan, after the holidays, I think you're going to see a large swath of GameStops close. I honestly think so. Between all of the problems that they were having before, add in all of the COVID stuff, add in this next generation of systems that are going to very heavily push this the digital game frontier, plus all of these game services, things like Xbox Live, PS Plus, the Nintendo eShop. These are large scale digital services. With all of that, I think that after the Christmas season, I think that during the holiday season, with new systems coming out, GameStop is going to make one more push for cash, and then they're going to liquidate. I think they're going to get out of the game, which is sad. I need to find a local game store. They're going to rake in as much money. Yeah, they're going to make as much money as they can from the holidays, and they're gonna make a break for it. They're going to leave. I don't see any benefit to getting digital-only consoles. There are benefits. I think that the benefits for digital consoles don't affect us very much, a lot of us. Digital consoles for something like the Switch that is on the go is extremely good. Extremely good. When it's sitting in your house, I really don't care, because I'm not taking my PS4 digitally. So I'm going to be sitting at home playing it, and I've got all of my games on the shelf. So that's okay. It's a little more convenient if I have them digitally, but it's not really that important to me. But if you're somebody who lives in an apartment and you don't have a lot of space, the Japanese market is large for digital games because Japanese housing notoriously is very small. So there are uses for it. They just probably don't apply to us. Not to mention, digital is on your hard drive. It loads up faster. It moves quicker as opposed to a physical copy of the game, which obviously is not going to be that much of an issue if you have to load your physical games up anyway. But it's a thing that it can entice people to do it. Unless you're Sakurai's apartment. But yeah, at this point, PS5 will be $500. Yeah. You can take, the only Switch problem, you can take your games, your Switch case, and be ready for work. Yeah. Ronan, that's another problem, is that the used game market doesn't exist with digital games. The good news is that with digital games, hopefully you start seeing prices come down really fast. I don't think any digital game should be over $50. I think that physical games being $60 and digital games being $50 is a smart thing to do for them, because you're moving less physical units, but you're still making a very decent profit. I think that from a business standpoint, I think that works very well for them. Excuse me. And great, and then we'll worry about storage. Well, we already are kind of worried about storage space and all of that stuff. Ryan brings up an interesting point, which is the last point that I want to talk about with these systems. We don't have prices for the PS5 yet. Do you think that Microsoft pulling the trigger first and telling everybody what the prices are going to be, do you think that's going to have an effect on PlayStation? Do you think that Sony is looking at this and saying, okay, we were going to sell our system for $600, now we have to sell it for $500? Or do you think that, because let's be 100% here. Let's be completely honest and clear here. $600 for the PS5 considering the library of games that are available for PlayStation, is probably still more appealing than the $500 Xbox Series X. It really is. Because when you talk about the Series X and you talk about Microsoft and the Xbox, what exclusive games are you trying to play that you can't play on PC? What are you really going after other than maybe Halo? For Sony usually has better exclusive games. So putting a $100 premium price on it doesn't change that fact. And the games are probably still more enticing for people. There's worth mentioning Microsoft only announced the prices because it leaked. Yeah, that is kind of true too. They're definitely not going 600. It'll be 500 too. Given where in the thing, Sony can't stomach losses. Yeah. Let me put it this way: Sony could get away with $600 after the most successful console ever in a good economy. They can't get away with $600. Yeah, Ryan, and I think that's probably going to be a bigger factor than Microsoft's pricing. Is going to be the fact that $600 in an economy where around the world people are out of work. Some people are struggling to get by, or they're either out of work or they're back to work but on a very limited capacity. And there's a whole bunch of other problems that we won't get into right now. $1,200. That's probably a bigger thing for people. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this gaming gen. Chris, I almost completely skipped PS4. I don't have an Xbox One, and the only reason I have a PS4 is because I was given one for my 40th birthday, and there were a few games that I wanted to play. That was 2 years ago. I own I own 9 PS4 games and have played through, I think, 2 of them. I like the PS4. It's a decent system, but I was never really clamoring for it. And I think with this next gen, the way it's going, I don't know if I'll bother with either one of these systems right now. My birthday's in February, so I'll probably get a PS5. I played a lot of PS4, so I'm pleased with it. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. It's a great system. I'm not sad that I have it, but if I haven't played it, like, I probably would have gotten one by now anyway. To be completely honest, I'll probably get an Xbox One when they go down cheap enough. But I'm not, obviously right now we're not really seeing anything amazing on the PS5 or Xbox Series X, so I don't really care that much. I'm always on my PS4. I would wait on the PS5. I think I'm really going to wait on the PS5 if I get one at all. I'm constantly deleting games off my PS4, so I think I put it to good use. So it sounds like you got some use out of it. But Xbox pricing, way to shake up the community. Sony, the ball's in your court. It's up to you to decide what you're going to say about what you're going to do. We need to see a price. I think that's the most important thing right now for Sony, is that we need to see a price. They're not going to get away with $600. They're really not, with this economy, with the way things have been going, and the fact that Microsoft, and the fact that Sony has a better library of games and will have a better library of games, most likely, is important. But I don't think that's going to carry it at $600. I think that people just aren't going to go for it. But viewer topics. This is the viewer topic portion / Q&A portion of the show. So if you have anything, wait, Spawnwave is, what's Spawnwave doing? Or Spawnwave inviting me on the show? I don't know. What would you want to see in a sequel to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night? A whole different game. Dragon Tupra. I would like to see a whole different game. I would not like to see a game with the same characters doing similar things in a similar environment. I would like to see a whole new story with whole new characters in a whole new world, or in a different part of the same world if you want to do shared universe type thing. But I do not want to see, as much as we loved Symphony of the Night, I don't think we needed another Alucard game. And I'm glad that we didn't get one. I loved the characters in Bloodstained, but I don't need to see another game with those same characters. So I would like to see a completely different game. Same kind of game, just completely different. Really all depends on if the games are good. Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Movie Part 1 thoughts. I thought it was incredible before. I think it's incredible now. I can't wait for everybody to see parts 2 and 3. Absolutely. For anybody that is watching this, the Metroid movie is a movie that was done by Derek from Game Explain, along with help, of course. He commissioned all of the stuff for it, but he wrote it himself, and they did like a cinematic for it, and there's voiceover work for it and stuff. Check that out over on Some Call Me Johnny's channel. I think that's where they're hosting the video. So go ahead and check that out. It's incredible. Hopefully by the time I upload this, it'll be soon. If not, all 3 parts are probably already out. Thoughts on the 4K Switch rumor? I don't need one. I don't need a 4K system. I'm more about frame rate than I am about 4K. I would rather see a Switch. I would rather see a Switch that runs all games at a rock solid 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second. If we're being picky here, or if we're making wishes. I question whether or not that's necessary on a handheld. If you're going to do a Switch 4K, I think that you need to do the Switch Home, which is a home console only version of the Switch. I think that's a good idea that can be done. I think that it's an easy idea to do. And if you do something like that, I think it's easier to put stronger tech inside. So I think 4K 120 frames is easy to do if you do a Switch Home. If it's not 4K, then you're a sucker. Yeah, I don't really care too much about 4K, but if you're gonna do a Switch 4K system, I think it should be a consoleized home system. I think it should be a home only system. And for anybody that says they wouldn't do that because it loses the hybrid aspect of the Switch, because that's always the big argument, right? They're never going to do that because the Switch is supposed to be a portable system. It's supposed to be a hybrid system, and that would remove the hybrid capabilities of it. They have already thrown that out with the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite already does away with the hybrid capabilities of the system. You cannot hook the Switch Lite up to your TV. As far as I know, I don't know if you can connect Switch Pro controllers with it. So the idea of the Switch being a hybrid system all the time has already been thrown out the window. Nintendo did that when they made the Switch Lite. So the Switch Home would be the opposite end of that spectrum. It will be a home console only version of the system, but because of that, you get to remove the screen, you get to remove the battery, which means you can put physically more tech inside along with a better cooling solution, and bundle it with a 1 terabyte hard drive and a Switch Pro controller. Sell it for $200, $250, and I think you got to kill it. If you can sell the Switch Home with a 500 gig hard drive, let's put a 500 gig hard drive in there. Still takes the game cartridges, but 500 gigs and a Pro controller. You sell that for $250. You blow everybody else out of the water. Yeah. You boom, that's it. $250, Switch Home, plays the same exact games as your Switch Lite, so you can buy the games and use them in both. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Yeah, you're effectively selling a PS4 at that point, and it'd still do well. It would do incredible. You know why it would do incredible? Because it's Nintendo. Because Nintendo has the best exclusives. Nobody can argue that. Nobody can argue that Nintendo has the best, most successful, exclusive library of games that has ever existed in gaming. And they can do wrong. right? There's the Nintendo fanboys out there that will say Nintendo can do no wrong. Nintendo can and has done a lot wrong. Timed availability for 3D All Stars. But selling a system like that at $250 with a Pro Controller, with a 500 gig hard drive that plays the same games as your other Switch consoles, that's a win. That's an easy win. Easy win. Easy win. Nintendo will be Nintendo. All we can do is sit back and see what they do. What if it was a Switch Home, but you can plug your normal Switch in and keep playing on the go? That'd be interesting. I'd be curious to see that. Well, I would just say that you save files between the two systems. A system that doesn't have storage complicity problems and doesn't download games in your system? The Nintendo Switch. Yeah, Mario All-Stars. I know, Dragoon. I know. I like that's the hot button issue with Nintendo right now is the timed availability. So I like to hassle people with it. Hold on a second here. So we're going back up. 4K. Curse of the Moon 2 really disappointed me. Yeah, it was okay. Spawnwave was predicting 400 for the PS5 digital, but I think that's optimistic. I think that's pretty accurate. If PS5 is doing a digital version right off the bat, I think $400 is pretty accurate. That's probably real. I would be surprised if they tried to match Xbox's $300. I don't think that's going to happen. What do you think about the idea of an FPS Mega Man game? Nah, I don't like it. I don't like that idea. I mean, it's possible to do well. I don't know. Mega Man to me is more fast paced, and I don't think that works well with an FPS. It's kind of weird. I auditioned for the part of Ridley, but obviously didn't get it. I'm sorry that you didn't get it. Maybe it would have performance boost as an option. Absolutely. Well, it would have better technology in it. The Boys Season 2 is great. I haven't watched it yet. I do want to get around to that at some point. The rumor is that docked it's 4K and portable it's bumped up to 1080p. You can connect Pro Controllers to the light. Okay. All right. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. So they announced another Hyrule Warriors game that is going to take place 100 years before Breath of the Wild, which is the time around when Ganon when he became Calamity Ganon. I'm sorry, I still think that's a goofy name, and I can't help but say it like that. Well, howdy Hyrule, I'm Calamity Ganon. I'm gonna take this here Triforce and show you all what the Golden Land used to look like, but now turn it into the Dark World. I don't know why he's saying stuff like that. None of it. Yeah, there is 500. Yeah, I don't think this try saves him that much. Yeehaw! I'm the physical embodiment of the Triforce of Power. I can never be killed. Promote whoever kept that game from leaking. Yeah, you're right. The fact that game didn't leak is kind of amazing. I'm Calamity Ganon. Gonna paint your wagon. Gonna paint it good. Gonna paint it with the legendary hero's blood. How the Kakariko was won. Oh, I could see that like a Western Legend of Zelda, but it's like instead of the good, bad, the ugly, it's the wisdom, the courage, and the power. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Hold on. Sweet. Oh boy. Yeah, I just it looks fine. I wasn't a Hero Hyrule's fan. I think that's my biggest problem is that I didn't really play Hero Hyrule's. It was Hyrule Warriors. Hero Hyrule's. What the hell am I saying? Hyrule Warriors. The Warriors type gameplay is. I played it. I did play Hyrule Warriors. It just doesn't interest me. It doesn't hold my interest very long. I find the gameplay to be very bland and very extremely repetitive. So when you release this kind of game that has this very repetitive kind of gameplay, and then you release 30 characters, and it's just it just wasn't interesting to me. Instead of a spaghetti western, it'd be a Mushroom Kingdom western. Ooh, no, it could still be a spaghetti western because Mario is Italian. Or are we not supposed to draw attention to that anymore? If you're not in a Dynasty Warrior, yeah, I was never a Dynasty Warriors fan after 1. Like, Dynasty Warriors 1 was a fighting game, so everything else I was never really a big fan of. I'm excited for personally a Warrior-style game taking place during the Calamity. Calamity makes sense to me. And of course, there's the joke that I wonder how it'll end. Right? Like, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Boy, I wonder who wins in the end of it all, right? I'll tell you what I do think is cool, though. I think it's cool that you're going to be able to play. You have to be able to play the heroes, right? There's no reason that you're not going to be able to play Daruk and who's Urbosa? Oh god, those abs. Like, you're going to be able to play. You have to be able to play as these characters, considering the time frame and everything. So you're going to be able to play. Just imagine when Daruk's protection is now ready to roll. That'll be you. I wonder if there'll be a Calamity. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. I guess so. I guess it's an acquired taste. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It never really appealed to me. So, and hats off to everybody who it does. I think Ted was somebody who really liked playing Hyrule Warriors. So I get it. Like, I see the action and I get what people see in it. I just don't see it myself. I don't find it interesting for me to actually play. Oh, yeah, they showed it in the trailer. That's right. Yeah, Ted's grind fest continues. Yeah, imagine everybody like trying to unlock everything in that game and then they announce the second one and it's like, oh. A lot of the crossover games lately have tried ingesting more gameplay from the series being adapted. They said there'll be environmental puzzles and stuff. All right, so maybe it would be a little more interesting. Maybe. They have the holiday game now. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think their biggest holiday seller might actually be this Mario 3D All Stars. So we'll see what the availability looks like for that game. But yeah, so if anybody has, does anybody have any other? If you don't have any other topics, I think we'll wrap it up there. It's a little early compared to what we usually do, but we actually started much later, so that's kind of okay too. Surely there'll be a mode allowing you to play as other characters with the champion's descendants. So many people will want to play as Sidon. Is it Sidon or is it Sidon? Or I don't know how it was pronounced. Sexy shark guy, right? Wasn't he a shark? Sexy shark guy? I think that's fair. How many Zelda games are there on the Switch? I don't know. That's an interesting. What I'm hoping is that they do some sort of massive Zelda collection. That would just be the bee's knees, wouldn't it? I wanted to have extra things from Fire Emblem Warriors added, like commendable AI. Yeah, see, I didn't. Fire Emblem Warriors is one that I definitely like. I would probably try Hyrule Warriors a bit more, because I'm a fan of the franchise. Fire Emblem is not a franchise that I've followed, so I'm not familiar with it. What I wouldn't mind seeing, and this I think this exists in some form or fashion, as far as like. World of Final Fantasy or Brave Exvius, I think is what it's called. But a Warriors type Final Fantasy game, I think would be really kind of interesting. You're going to have tons of fan favorite characters that you can pull from, tons of enemies, tons of scenarios. I think that a Final Fantasy Warriors type game would be actually really interesting. Tanabe said Nintendo has an IP team preventing them from doing any interesting character designs in Paper Mario. Well, then they'll keep failing. They'll keep failing. Paper Mario will fall into obscurity, and one day someone will revive it in glorious fashion. I only hope I'm alive to see it at the time. Persona 5 Scramble mixes the two gameplay styles, make it more like an action RPG. So that might be something interesting that I want to see. I know that's one that people are clamoring to have come to the U.S., right? Persona 5 Scramble. So about that Kingdom Hearts interview, I did not see the Kingdom Hearts interview. I did not see that. Kingdom Hearts is not a series I follow very much. I've only ever played through the first Kingdom Hearts. I've never played through any other Kingdom Hearts besides the first one. It says Legend of Zelda 3D All-Star only available for 3 months. Fire Emblem Warriors had a bunch of great additions, like actually being able to tell allies to attack or defend. Oh, okay. Releasing port Kingdom Hearts port isn't coming to. Is that what they said? That yeah, I didn't even know there was an interview. Did they say that Kingdom Hearts games won't come to the Switch? That's kind of sad. Well, aren't they getting? Isn't the Switch getting that? What's that new Melody of Memories, or Melodic Memories 2.5 final mix divided by 7? It's a Kingdom Hearts game, so that's got to be the name of it, right? Melodic Memories times 2.5 divided by 7. There you go. Switch is getting a spin-off. Oh, so that's a rhythm game. Yeah, I know it's Melody of Memories, but let's be honest, Ryan. Melody of Memories is too plain of a name for a Kingdom Hearts game. Come on. that should be painfully obvious at this point. Kingdom Hearts Warriors wouldn't actually be that bad. Kingdom Hearts gameplay is kind of warrior-like already, right? So a Kingdom Hearts Warriors game might not be that far off from the original Kingdom Hearts type gameplay. Will it be canon though? All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for today. So we're gonna take that off. Thank you everybody for stopping in and for hanging out. I very much appreciate all of you coming here. I know that John is streaming right now, so everybody's going to rush over there. But before you rush over there, if you would be so inclined to do so, please go ahead and click follow if you haven't already done so. And check the links down below. Follow me over on YouTube, where I am supposed to upload this show, which I got to get to doing. And follow, we also have a Discord and, blah, 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 blah. It all feels so repetitive, right? When I say it over and over again. Your newsletter. But yeah, follow me over on Twitter, which is where I will post updates about what we're going to be talking about. And I post a lot of other fun stuff there. I think it's fun anyway. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching it here. Also check the links down below. Follow us over on Twitter and check out our Discord, and follow us over on Twitch, where we do this show live Fridays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and we stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time for all of those. We stream gameplay of different kinds of games. So stop on in, have a good time, hang out, click follow. Very much appreciate that. And if you have a Twitch Prime sub, or you've got an extra $5, feel free to go ahead and click sub, and that would be very much appreciated. Thank you, everybody. I very much appreciate you all stopping in here. It's been kind of a rough week for me, so the fact that I can come in here and hang out with everybody and talk about geeky stuff always makes me really, really happy. If you stick around after the credits, I will raid some Call Me Johnny. So just stay here, and then we'll head over there in a second. But have a good one, everybody. Get my buttons ready. Have a good one, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Play some fun games. Take care of each other. And I will see you all next time.